Hi everyone, Emma here. So I have my sun catcher that I made, and I'm going to show you how to create this lovely lotus flower in the middle. I kind of wanted to show you how to make the full amount, like with all the different crystals and things like that. But I had some issues with this wire being super soft, and you really can't harden it because it's coated with like a some type of finish. And as soon as you start to, you know, do anything with it, you can kind of see in through here. Let me enlarge this a bit. You can see it got a bit marred. Now I can take a blue marker and go over that. And actually, we might as well do that right now. I have a turquoise. Let me see if I have a darker one. I have some. Oh wait, it's in the bin. There. I think it's not going to matter once we get started. But the other thing you can do with this is, initially, when I was threading these on, I did my thread color yellow because I wanted to make sure these gorgeous 6mm bicone crystals from Swarovski, I wanted the yellow thread to show through it rather than blue. So of course, when I strung the blue ones, I put blue thread, and actually you can kind of see there's some yellow. So I kind of halfway finished up a thread and then started anew. Anyway, you can just go along here and do something like that. And show you this part here, and I am just gently touching it. I don't want to get the ink all over the place and look really messy. And so you had to kind of let the thread soak it in. And you could actually do these too. I think I might get a little closer to the color of the wire, but I struggled a lot with this wire. You can kind of see there's like awkward little bends, and I'm not good at wire wrapping. So I would have wire wrapped this and created something that you can hang. But I just kind of left it because it just looked like a mess. But it does move a bit. So, of course, all of this moves. This has been a really good lesson for me in being less picky with what I think should be the way to do something. And so I'm learning, and I appreciate people are really encouraging. And okay, so this is off now that I look at it. Let's move this one. So this was the other thing, is these were moving around and it was driving me nuts. So, but yeah, everybody's really encouraging. Like if I make mistakes in videos, people are really nice about it and appreciate, that I can show you how to fix a mistake, which is nice, because when you're doing it on your own, sometimes the answers don't come that quickly. So I would flip it and do the other side. But the other thing to this is I wanted to put the butterflies in here. We got that massive bag of butterflies. I want to make sure that you can see this all the way. I'll put that in focus. Yeah, so I wanted to put the butterflies, and I wanted to wrap them with wire and attach them so it looked like they were flying around the edges, like something like that. And maybe one here and one there to go around. I did try that, and they kept sliding down and the wires didn't look right and stuff. So we're going to definitely do something with the butterflies. I think we should do a bracelet with them. They're so adorable. We could do herringbone with these in the middle of the bracelet. So, a line of these and then herringbone on each side. But let's just look a bit at the design. So I basically put flower petals, 2 sets of flower petals, and I staggered them. So I did one inside the other. Turned it really nice. And then I just went ahead and created these bigger petals all the way around. And you just do it opposite so that it goes around almost like a spider web, but it does look like flower. And these um, leaf ones, beads, just have a hole at the base of them. So that was the other thing. I wanted them to be like sit in this position. And when you lift it up, they kind of move around, which on some level with a sun catcher, that might be good that they're moving around, because if there's a little bit of breeze or something, they move around, then you'll get like light shining through and coming through. So, and of course, this is so lovely, this crystal that we got from the John Bead Curiosities box. Oh my gosh, all of these. So we did manage to get the crystal, the ladybugs, the leaves, and hopefully I'll figure out something for the butterflies. I think what I may do is I'm going to continue to look for some wire forms that are solid, that I don't have to worry about. You know, every time I strung something new, this stuff is so soft that it would just like bend. It's like, no. So this is the back side. The crystal is amazing on both sides. And let me see if I can get some light shining through it to give you an idea of how stunning this is. So yeah, and you just hang it, and then of course the leaf on the bottom is amazing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to bezel a, I'm going to take a 14 millimeter Rivoli pink one to go with the pink flowers we got in the Curiosities box. So the other reason for using a different color, because I was going to do the same crystal, because we got 3 crystals, so I used 1 crystal here. But I have to tell you, I went to bezel the next one with a different color bead so that you could see. I tried to do a video, I got halfway through, I couldn't see the beads, let alone with this like inside shiny silver lined bead. It was really difficult to see. So that's another reason for using the pink. And of course, I don't have a pink crystal, so we're going to use a same size. The only difference is this pointed back, and it's not clear all the way through, but this will be fine. You could potentially put one on one side and one on the other and bezel it that way as well. But we'll do this one. It's all the same instructions. And then we'll be ready to do one of these. And hopefully by then I'll have a lovely wire form. We'll put a bunch of crystals. So we'll put this one aside. I hope you like that one. It turned out really nice. I just, yeah, I kind of feel like I want this metal frame to be a little nicer. So let's set that off to the side and get our supplies. So I do have videos on how to bezel a 14 millimeter and a 12 millimeter. I'm just going to show you these lovely flowers. So we will do a lotus flower bezel with this, and then we have these that at some point we'll put together as a sun catcher, and we'll add some other lovely crystals, so that'll look amazing. So there, we'll just slide those over. So big thank you to John Bead for this beautiful Curiosities box. Oh my goodness. And a shout out to Carmi and her design team. I have to say, I always, if I have a name specifically, like Isa does a lot of the products that we get too, but you know, sometimes I don't mention the design team. We want to thank them too for all the beautiful stuff that we get. So let's take a look. Here is, you're going to use Delica beads, 11O, and you can get these on Amazon. That's where I got these from the craft shop, and they are lovely. So I would highly recommend, if you haven't done peyote bezeling of rivolis before, to definitely use a Delica. The rounded beads will still work, but they're sometimes a little frustrating. These sit together, almost interlocking. They're so nice. So then it's makes your job easier. So we're going to use some of the John Bead Good Thread, and we're going to color this pink so that you can't see the white. Oh, I got a pink Sharpie marker from Kalidi in Arizona. She sent me this for Christmas with a bunch of other goodies. I was like, pink, of course I need a pink marker. So we're going to dye that. Let's do that right now. My little trick here. So grab a wingspan. You will need a wingspan of thread. And you're going to need scissors. So grab your scissors. And if you don't have the John Bead Curiosities box and you want to try this, you can definitely pull out your 14 millimeter rivolis and do that. So we just hold the thread down with your marker and pull your thread through all the way through. And I'll just untwist that a bit. And pull through. It's not quite on there. Let me go over that. There we go. There. And cover that up. And you don't have to worry about the ends being white because we're not going to use the ends. This is going to go inside our needle. You're going to need some 15O seed beads that you want to pair with your color of your delicas. So I've picked a pink, and yeah, so I'll put those there and use a size 12 needle. Just makes it easier to go through when you're bezeling, but you can definitely use a larger needle if it's difficult to thread needles. Sometimes it is. This good thread is amazing. I've been using it for everything now. So just that in there. Pull that through. You're going to need a stop bead. So let's find a different color stop bead. I think I have a yellow one here. So let's get the stop bead. You're going to take and put the stop bead on up halfway up your thread. So you have equal amount on each side of your stop bead. And then go back up like that. Because I found the best way to do a bezel is to have equal pressure on each side or tension on each side. So to do that, it's always best to do one side and then the other and tighten those sides like that, rather than try and take your thread and going through to the other side and then tightening, stuff like that. So we don't need the 11s right now. Let's put these guys out. So I hope everybody's doing well and dealing with the winter. We just had a snowstorm, so I was out shoveling yesterday. That was not fun. So for 14 millimeter, you are going to use 36 beads. Let me just write this down for our lovely friends that don't speak English. So put 36 beads, 14 millimeter Rivoli. There we go. And YouTube also has, you can change the captioning language to your language. Just go into the settings and change it to your language. That way you'll get closed captioning. But the other thing is they are going to be, that bead looks really tiny. I'll just throw that one aside. They're going to be doing AI audio translation. So that's hilarious. I think they're doing it now. I'll have to go and take a look and see if I can change my settings so that it gives me a different language to see what I sound like in a different language. That's crazy. So we're going to pick up 36. Here's my little tip with doing these bezels is count your beads before you start. So you're counting them when you pick them up, then count them when you put them on your thread. So there's 5. Just make sure, yeah, 5, and we need 2 more. So there's 10. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then I just go like that, and there's 3 and 2 and 2 and 3. So there's 20 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 3 and 2 and 2 and 3. So that's 30, and we're going to put 6 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 and 3. Okay, pull those all the way down. And I'm just going to move these up. Make sure my hands are in the screen. So you're going to come back down, and you're going to go through the very first bead, skipping the stop bead. So just go through this one here. Okay, pull that through. You're making a loop with your thread and your beads. Pull that down, then you can hang on to that thread and your stop bead, and then we're going to start doing peyote. So if you're not familiar with peyote, you pick up an 11-0 delica. Your thread is coming out of this bead here. We're going to skip this bead and go through the next one. And I just hang on to it so it doesn't go all over the place. And you see it does this lovely little, stacks them side by side. And let's enlarge just a bit more. And I'm just going to move these up. I feel like my hands are going to get too low on the screen. There. Pick up your next bead. Your thread's coming out of this one here. You're going to skip that one and go through the next one. And you can use your fingernail to move them over so you can get them in there. There. Okay. Pick up an 11-0. Skip the next bead. Go through the next one. Just like that. And keep going around. If you have problems, it took me a long time to get used to bezeling rivolis and different shaped beads. If you still have a hard time, I do have a couple of videos, and I may end up redoing some of them just to update them, but it's a modified right angle weave, and it bezels the rivolis. It's a lot easier to get the proper tension and stuff, and it also gives it a little design edge to it, so I think it looks really pretty on the edge of your rivoli. So pick up another, and go through like that. And let's try and keep your work flat at this point. We do want this eventually to curl up this way, but make sure that everything is kind of flat. I apologize about that. It's going to take me a long time to get used to this new camera. I'm so not used to. But you know what? I do my videos differently than a lot of people. A lot of people let the camera do the auto focus. And I kind of know where my hands are going to be. So I always, this should be down here. There. Like that. So get your next one. And this part goes really fast. It's just slow right now because I miss you guys. I'm talking a lot. I'm getting a little annoyed with winter. And I don't know necessarily that it's winter. I just hate being inside the house. And with it being cold, there's not much choice. I used to love going camping. Like, I definitely felt like I was an outdoor person. Maybe that was when we were kids. You know, my parents would get us dressed up in our boots and our snow suits and mitts and hats, and they'd go, you know, on a Saturday, go play outside. Okay. Nowadays, I'm hiding in the warm house. I see people walking their dogs and I feel bad. Of course, that's like at 5 a.m, right? Before they go to work. Which is funny because I did that too when I was nursing. We had 2 dogs. And I would go for a full 1-hour walk with them before I went to work. Okay, so now we're getting to the end here. And this is an important step. So I'm just going to move my stop bead. You can actually loosen it and pull it out to here, but I'll just show you doing it this way. So the next bead here is our skip bead. So we're going to pick up an 11-0 delica. We're coming out of this one. We're going to skip that one. We're going to put our needle into this one, but we want to continue with the outside edge. So we're going to go on an angle and go through that bead too. And that's what they call a step up. So you're stepping up to the next row, which is the row we just added. So, and I'm holding on to everything. Sometimes this can get a little crazy. So you want to make sure that it doesn't get messed up. So that bead that we added should actually sit next to the other one. And pull that like that. I think we need to move this a bit. And you just pull with your nail and it comes down. So then pull this up. Okay. Okay, yeah. So now if you look at your work, you have all these little indents. We're going to put our 15 O's in there. And that's going to create, so if you take a look, it's going to make these come forward. Now, I think you can also place your bead that way or your rivoli that way and complete it this way. We'll see. It depends on how tight my tension is and where the bead's going to land. So let's move these over and put some 15s out. So these are 15 O's. I got a bunch of these 15 O's from BB Craft, if you're wondering. I just pretty much got every color they had that was under $3. You have to be careful with them. They charge a lot of money for their beads. So I think I'm going to be doing a shopping at John Bead with the and get some 15s and some 11s and stuff. So stay tuned for that. That's always fun. Okay, we have our 15s. So our thread's coming out of here. We'll just put one 15 on there, and we're gonna go through the next sticking out bead. And let's just make sure that doesn't get tangled here. Now, I don't tighten it at this point. You can see there's some thread here. That's quite a small 15 actually, but we'll pull it eventually. So pick up your next 15, go through the next sticking out bead. So I get a few in and then I start to pull. These are so small, you could even put 2 of these 15s. I'm not sure why this wants to keep tangling. There. Let's get this in place. Yeah, I thought look, I've tangled everything. Let's move that out of there. So here's the other thing. When you're doing bezeling a Rivoli, just be patient. It's not gonna, it's gonna get all funky. So now I've pulled it a bit. There's 3 in there. I've pulled it a bit. I wouldn't pull it any more than that. So continue to hold it like this so that it takes the shape of your thumb and doesn't go any further than that. So let's get our next one in. Another 15. Another 15. And we can just pull it a bit. 15. And another. So I pulled it a little more. You can see how it's starting to curl so that when we do this, that's going to sit in there lovely. Okay. Back. Another 15. I have a wonderful surprise. So I did say that I was bezeling the other crystal that we got in the Curiosities box. And when I got it, when I was done bezeling, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Instead of doing a lotus flower, what if? So I just pulled it a little bit more, and you can see it's getting a nice little, that cup feel to it. What if I put daggers on it to make it look like a flower? And it turned out amazing. So right after I do this video, I'm going to do the next video. So if you have some Rivolis out, if you didn't order a Curiosities box, pull out your Rivolis and your daggers. We're going to have some fun. I mentioned before Christmas that we're going to start doing some flowers. And the idea with the sun catcher is to kind of invite the sun into the house. Now we're going to plant flowers. You know what? I would totally plant flowers, and I have done it before. But my cat is crazy. He sees a plant and he destroys it. So I can't have, it's very sad. I can't have flowers in my house. Okay, so I was just moving that. That stop bead is actually attached lower, so, it's not We're going to continue with this one here. And so this one will be the last one, this one that I've got on my needle. So you can see there's a space here that needs to go. And I'm going to do the same thing as if I was going to continue. And the reason being is I'm not sure if with these smaller beads, if it'll totally hold in the Rivoli. So, you know, be prepared to do an extra row. So let's go through this 11-0 and on an angle, go through that first 15 that we added. So just have your needle ready to go. And if you don't need it, then you can either tie off or, you know, finish it up kind of thing. I'm just moving my tail thread for the stop bead, and I'm giving this a little bit of a pull so you can see. Oh, that's lovely. I do think it needs another row in there, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, what you could and what I could have done was I could have added another row of 11 O's in that section and then added my 15, and that would have brought the 11 O's over the edge of the Rivoli, which is fine, still looks wonderful. So, but I kind of like that little 15-0 look to it. So let's keep going here. Pick up another 15, and again with these you're going to put them in the kind of the divots a little harder to see because the beads are small. So you're coming out of this 15, you're going to skip this 11 and go through this 15, and you're going to do that all the way around. So another 15, skip the 11, go through the 15 like that. And there's lovely designs you can do too with doing your Rivolis. I'm sure you've seen people like Stephanie from Bronze Pony does some lovely. I must have gone through my thread there. Let me see if I can fix that. These needles are quite sharp and they do go through the thread. Let me see if I can get that. There. Phew. It's annoying when it goes through the thread like that. So a way to prevent that is hold your thread to the side. So we're going to go through this 15. That. Hold your thread to the side. To your next 15. Put it in here. Yeah, so there's designs you can do. You can do like trying to think what, I don't know, it's kind of like little flower patterns. Kind of you skip maybe every other, or you go skip 2 and then do 3 together and different things like that. And now I've totally confused you, right? Emma, one at a time, please. So now I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to see if I can get this to curl over a bit. There. You see how it's pulling in? So probably, like, because we're doing this, we'll end up having to put our bezel in from the back with the face down, but that's fine. Like that. Keep going around. And around. Let's pull those in. There. It's awfully quiet here. Why aren't you guys talking? I can't hear a thing. Okay. So I will do some more bezeling that doesn't involve peyote too, because I know some people it's just so frustrating. So there, I just pulled out a little bit more so you can see how it's coming around nicely. But yeah, there's so many ways to bezel. You can use, pearls in behind, or you can use different like gem duos and super duos and things like that to bezel to create the backing so that it holds it in place. There. And two more. There's one. And this is your last one. We will go through these two beads here so that we can adjust our tension. So get your needle in the first 15 and the second 15 with your 15 there. Push that down. There. So there. Does that look amazing? So of course we have to put it in from the back. So just pop that in like that. Show you what this looks like. Oh, that's lovely. So now we're going to do the back side, and the back side will straighten it out. Like it's not quite round, the shape, but oh, that looks amazing. How cute is that? Okay, so I'm going to pull my stop bead off. So I'm going to hang on to the beads next to that stop bead. I don't want to disturb them, so just pull that out a bit and then slide it right off. All the way off your thread. Okay, and we're going to put a needle on this side. I left the other needle on there. You might not need to, but I mean, we will eventually have to tie our thread off, so we do need a needle on that side. So let's take this side. This needle I use so the eye might be... I think I have a kitty cat at the door. I'm going to grab a new one. He knows how to knock at my door. What a guy. So with the needles, the eyes get compressed when you're using them, when they pass through with thread and stuff. So that's why you think that wasn't so hard to thread the first time. No, that was not on. I thought it was. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. So this is where we started, and we need to be coming out of one of these sticking out beads. So we're coming out of this one. We're gonna pass it through this one. That. And actually, we can bring this tighter, so we can put this in here. That. And you could maybe just hold it with your thumb and then just gently pull a bit. That's going to bring up the edges. There. That should do it. There, like that. Okay. So you can either hold it in there or you can go ahead and pop it out and put it in later. So we're taking the 15s. You could do a 11-0, but I think a 15 is fine to hold it in place like that. So we're just putting them in. There's 2 in there. Going through the sticking out beads. And they do get hooked on the previous bead there. So you can see pulling it in. Another 15. That. And I think I wasn't planning on showing you how to put the flower petals on, but I think we should. And for that, we're going to need a different color, a different type of bead. You want a round bead for that. It will still work with a tubular bead like a delica, but it just looks better. Oh, just keep going around. So really at this point, it really doesn't matter if you had it flipped or not, because this is holding it in place too. That could be the finishing. So if you don't want as much of these delicas to show at the front, then you can leave this for the front as well. So you have options. One. There. Looking pretty, looking pretty. My mat was sliding. It's sliding away from me. Now, one of the other things you can do with doing bezeling using this peyote is you can go through what you just put on as well. So what I mean by that, and I'll show you in a second here. So if you get to the end here and all you want is just this one row, well, you can reinforce it by going through it all over again without adding any beads. It will actually tighten your beads and prevent the bezel from moving around. So you can do that. Let me see how. That's pretty tight. I'm impressed. So this is gonna look amazing. Oh, what color petals should we put on to go with these? So we have a couple of different. Should we do? I'm going to pause the camera and I'm going to go find a color. Maybe I'll have some choices that we could decide. I need your help right now. Okay, so that was the last one I put on. I'm going to go up and through the next one. Let me see again how tight this is. It's pretty good. And we can tighten this side here. I think that's enough. So we're going to use these threads to put the petals on. So I'm just going to pause the camera and I'll be right back. Hi, I'm back. So this is the color I picked. It kind of matches the delicas. I kind of wanted something more of like this color, but surprisingly, I don't have enough variation in pink in my repertoire. You guys are laughing, right? Emma doesn't have enough pink. I can never have enough pink. I'm going to be looking all pinks when I'm shopping. So we're going to start with the front flowers. So you can see this one here is at our little 15s. What we want to do is make our way with our thread to, trying to decide if I should do the middle row or I think we should do the front row first. So, because we're going to do 2 rows at the front and we have the option to do 2 rows at the back. And I thought if you didn't want to show the foil on the back, we could always replace it with a flower like that. Put that in place, but we'll get to that. So let's start with so it's a good thing we left our needles on. So let me move this one on to the side now. So just go on an angle. So go through this one and this one. Now, because these are tensioned, you probably want to go and weave through a few beads back and forth so that tension won't separate at all. So let me go on an angle through a few beads like this, that in, and you can pull your tension again at the front, and that's going to make sure that does not go anywhere. Okay, so now I'm going to change directions using, let's go to this next bead here. Through this one. Like that. There. And then we'll cross over from the side and come up this one. Let's do 3. Do it like this, and that will prevent this. I think I went too far. Yeah, I don't want to go through this 15 here. And let me just tighten this. There. Now that is not going anywhere. Okay, so now I'm just going to cross over again, but then I'm going to be coming out of this bead here, and we're going to start our flowers, petals. Now in the design, I put a 15 at the top, and the idea was that when I went back around, I would skip that 15 and then go down the other beads. But I don't know if you really see that, if it's like creating the shape that I thought. So let's see what happens without it. I think it should be fine. Okay, so we're going to pick up 7 beads. So when you're doing things like petals, if you're doing something like these angles here, you always want to have an uneven number. So this one has 4 on one side, 4 on the other, and 1 in the middle. So that's 9. These petals have 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, and the middle one makes 7. So you always have a midpoint so that you could actually attach something to it. So it's 5, 6, 7. Put those on. So we're coming into this bead. We are gonna, I don't know if I skipped 2 or 3 on this. So 1, 2, yep. So skip 2, go through the 3rd. So if you look, what I mean by skipping 2, you're skipping this here. So 1, 2. I think you're skipping the sticking out one. 1, 2, and then go through the 3rd. Let's see what that looks like. And you can change this. You don't have to have it exact. Yeah, that's what you want. And you know what? I think we do need a 15 in that spot, because you see how it looks like a bunny ear instead of a flower petal. Yeah, I think we're going to put the 15s in there. So it did make a difference. Let's take that out. So just take 4 off, and we'll put some 15s out. So pick up a 15. We have 3 on there, and then do 3 more. That gives us 7 beads total. And come through here. Yeah, that's better. So it actually wants to sit at the top. Okay. So now we'll just keep doing that all the way around. So pick up 3 11-ohs, 1 15, 3 more 11-ohs for a total of 7. You're going to skip 1 sticking out, 2 sticking out, and go through the 3rd sticking out of your 11-oh delicas. That. 1, 2, 3 11-ohs, 1 15, 1, 2, 3 11-ohs for a total of 7. We're going to skip 1, 2, and go through the 3rd sticking out delica. That's going to look lovely. 1, 2, 3, and 1 15, and another 3 11-ohs. Skip 1, 2 sticking out, and go through the 3rd sticking out. This is looking very pink. Very pink, Emma. It's bordering on, I am going to say it, too pink. You heard it here first. There's 7. We're going to go past 1 and 2 sticking out, go through the 3rd. I think Jen heard me at the door. I said it's starting to look too pink. You heard it here first.
Oh, God. You
One,
have a
two.
voicemail message we can talk about when you're done. Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Oh, this is lovely. So 1, 2, 3, and a 15. 1, 2, 3 of the 11 O's. And we're going to skip 1, 2, and look at, we're all the way to the start. So let's just go through this one. And pull those out. Look. Oh, this is looking so lovely. These are so easy to make. Okay, so now we're back to the start, but what we want to do is we want to take a look. We are at the front of the 11O delicas. We want to go to these beads here, the middle one here. So let's bring your needle down, and that's the next bead on an angle, so that's fine. But we want to be coming out of the delica. Let me think about this here. Yeah, we want to come out of this delica here. So to do that, so that your thread doesn't show, you could do it directly. Your thread's not going to show through all of this, but just to be according to the bead gods who give us all the rules that we have to follow. Go down to that one, but then go back up on an angle to come back up like this. Okay, so now we're going to do the same as what we did to the front, but we're going to be skipping to the middles of each of those beads like that. So let's pick up 3 11 O's. And you can do these different colors too, so that it layers them. We're going to make some more stuff like this because this is so much fun. And you know what? It makes me happy. And we got to keep a chin up during this yucky weather. So there's 7 beads. We're coming out of this one here, which is directly behind the 15. So if you look, we're going to go to this one like that. And it puts our... I think we need to put more beads because I want it to come out more. Yeah, I think we're going to make this bigger. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to take the 3 off, the last 3 off, and the 15, and I'm going to add 4 to each side. So add another 11O, then add these back on. There's 3 there and a 4th, including, and then our 15O. So let's see what that looks like. It hopefully won't be too big. Yeah, it looks too big. I have an idea. If we used a different bead that's slightly larger. Yeah, that's way too big. I mean, you can do it once it gets around. I think the lotus flower looks best when the petals are like not as tall. So this kind of looks a little tall. I think it looks weird. So let's try. I'm going to take a look at what I did on the other one. I may have given it more space. So there's the front ones. Okay. And then we look at the back ones. we did 1, 2, 3. We did the same size. Yeah, I think that's, it was worth a try. They were high. I think we need to change color. I know I have pink beads somewhere. I'm going to take these all off. I'll probably end up pausing the camera if I can't find some pink on my desk. Where's the pink? I do have some of these crazy, you know what, let's try it. There's that one, but there's also this one here. These are like delicas, they're rounded. I think we should try this one. This is a more of a match. Okay, so let's put those aside. I was looking at the camera to see how much time. I'm thinking, I'm a bit silly. Okay, so let's try this. 1, 2, 3. One of the 15s. Oh, that's the wrong. 1, 2, 3. And go to the back. Go through that one there. Oh yeah, that's going to look lovely. Perfect. Sometimes it does work out. So 1, 2, 3. 15. 1, 2, 3. And go through the next petal. So I want to make sure you know what I'm doing. So I'm going from, if you see this 15 bead here, line it up with that delica. That's the delica I'm going through on the other side too, so that it makes it even. Oh yeah, that's going to look lovely. 1, 2, 3, 15, 1, 2, 3 of the 11 O's. Go to that middle delica. Let me just make sure that thread's out of the way. Oh yeah, that's going to be pretty. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 15, 1, 2, 3, and go through this delica here. That. Pull it in. 1, 2, 3, a 15, 1, 2, 3. And go through that one. And then we'll get to our last one. Oh, this is looking lovely. Okay. 1, 2, 3, a 15, 1, 2, 3. Coming out of this one. I feel like that's a long way. I guess not. And go through here. Yeah, that one seemed long. Anyway. Oh, this is looking amazing. Oh, okay, and this is what it looks like on the back. So we can actually continue with, oh, this is getting low. Maybe we should tie this one off and use the other side. What I might do though, so there's one of the flowers we can use to hide the, let's try the different colors. Maybe this pink. That kind of looks, and then we have this one. I think, you know what? I think the clear one looks the best. So let me make sure. I am going to secure this thread. So I'm going to do the same as I did before. I'm going to pass through some beads on an angle and then change directions. that. So that's nice and secure. And then let's see. Let's go through this petal here. Go down on an angle here. And then I'm just going to go through this one. There. And I think I may have pushed that bead aside. Okay, so let's put this one on here. And we're going to want to go directly across. I think so maybe here. I'm just wondering if I should add some beads there to the side. No, it's... Yeah, I think I need some beads to just kind of set it in place here. See if I can undo this. No, that didn't work. Okay, let me go through this bead and then come out this one. And then I'll add the beads. Let's do 1, 2. And 2 on the other side. Normally you wouldn't cover the back of your bezel, and you can cover it with beads too. We can always do that. And I have a pattern that ends up being a flower pattern. So we can do that, but because we want to use this for a sun catcher, you're assuming that your sun catcher is going to have 2 sides to it for the sun to come through. So we add. This is hilarious. I like this. Okay, let me go through these beads again. It doesn't have to be too tight because if it moves around, that's fine. I just want to make sure that doesn't get undone. Okay, and then we're going to secure this thread because this was the thread we put the other petals on with, and I want to make sure that they're secure. So let's go through here. There. And need to go through one more here. Before we can turn it around. Let's move that thread. Okay. There. That should do it. Take this one off and use our other thread for the back side. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. Oh my God, that looks cute. Okay, so you can imagine we're going to do the same for the front side. Now, I think I only did, I was taking my needle off. Don't want to do that. Let's take a look at the sun catcher. So we did one set of petals, then two set of petals. And if you flip it, you know what? I think I did two sets of petals on the other side initially. And I felt like the two sets of petals was fine, but I think because we added this flower, we're going to go ahead and put a set of petals and see how that kind of tidies it up a bit. But again, you have options. So we are going to alternate. Let me see, where am I here? We're going to need to be coming out of one of the delicas. I think that one. Okay. Now we could do the flower in this alternate color, but I kind of want to do it in this color. It's very pretty. It's very pink. So pick up 3 and 15 and 3 of the 11 O's. You're coming out of here. We are going to, let me make sure. I think we need to be one more over to do this correctly. So bring your needle over. There, I think that's it. So 1, 2, 3, 15, 1, 2, 3. There. So we're skipping 1, 2, 3. That's got it. So you can kind of follow what you're doing, what you have in the front to create that petal. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and a 15. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go through this one here. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go through this one. Oh yeah, that looks lovely. 1, 2, 3, 15. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think these are off of it. This is awesome. Just saying. 1, 2, 3. And through this one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And go through this one. I'm just wondering, we can probably add another row here, but you know what? Oh, this is awesome. So there is your lotus flower pendant. If you're using the John Bead Curiosities box, it comes, and it had. So now I would just weave that through and tie it off, but I might be doing something with it, so I don't want to do that. But so in the Curiosities box, these are stunning Swarovski crystals that they gave us. So I will be doing a video with this one here. Sneak peek. I hate to do this to you guys, but this is what we're going to be making. So you can imagine I was like, okay, no, this is going to go as earrings. This is going to be something, or a pen, a necklace. So don't tell anybody I showed it to you. So there you go. That's how to make a lotus flower rivoli for our next sun catcher. So this one's going to be for the next sun catcher. So thank you for joining me, and thank you to John Bead for the beautiful Curiosities box. And a big shout out to the design team. We love them. Don't stop. Take care, everybody. Bye.